Hello, my name is Mrs. C, and I'm an ELL teacher with Florida Connections Academy. Today, I'm going to be going over the Unit 6 Use Models to Subtract 10 Lesson 6 Candy Bar Fundraiser Portfolio Assignment. This is a graded math assignment that you will complete at home and then turn in to your teacher. Now, this assignment doesn't have a rubric because it's just filling out a worksheet with directions. Let's look at our directions before we get started. You are selling candy bars to raise money for your soccer team. The fundraiser lasts for 4 weeks. At the beginning of each week, tell your learning coach how many candy bars you want to try to sell. You can take up to 100 candy bars at a time. At the end of each week, tell your coach how many candy bars you have left. Use strategies to find the difference, remember that's subtraction, between how many candy bars you try to sell and how many you actually sell. So you're not going to sell as many as you hope to sell each week. Use the worksheet to record how many candy bars you take at the beginning of each week and how many you sell. You will also use the worksheet to describe the strategy to use to subtract and show all of your work. So you don't have to use the same strategy each time. You can use different strategies. If we look at the worksheet, here it is right here, you can see the beginning was done for us. Week number 1, it says numbers of bars taken. How many candy bars will you try to sell? 90. They've already filled that in. Remember, it can be anything between 10 and 100. Remember, we are counting and subtracting by 10, so you do want those numbers to make sure that they end with a 0. So they chose 90 for you. Number of bars sold. How many candy bars did you sell? They only sold 40, so they hoped to sell 90, but only 40 were actually sold. Which strategy will you use and why? In the example shown, a number line was chosen, and you can see the picture of the number line right over here. Why? I can use a number line to show how many hops I need to show the subtraction. So they started with 40. That's how many they actually sold. The number they began with was 90. And then they counted by 10. So they have 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 hops. And remember, each of those hops represents subtracting 10 of those candy bars. So here's their subtraction equation. 90 minus 40 equals 50. 50 candy bars are left. So let's look at week 2 and do our own example. For week 2, I want to try to sell, well, in week 1, I only sold 40. So I don't want to try to sell 90 now. That might be too difficult, but I'm going to try to sell 20 more. I'm going to try to sell 60 in week number 2. In week number 2, I got really close. I sold 50, so I sold 10 more than I did in week 1. Which strategy will I use and why? If you go to the beginning, you can see there are different examples shown. Drawing a model, 100 chart, number line, thinking addition, or mental math. And then I need to tell which strategy I chose and why I thought that worked best. Since these numbers are really close, 60 and 50, I'm going to choose mental math. Why did I choose it? Well, I know 6 minus 5 is 1. So I know 60 minus 50 is like taking away or subtracting one group of tens. So I know 60 minus 50 just leaves 10. So I chose mental math because the numbers were very close to one another and I could do it in my head very easily. I might not want to choose mental math if the numbers were really far from one another because I might make a mistake, right? I might want to write that down with a 100 chart or a number line. And then for mental math, I did it in my head, right? So I could say, I knew that 6 minus 5 equaled 1. So I also knew that 60 minus 50 equaled 10. It's just one group of 10. That's what I did in my head. So I just wrote out what I did and how I knew it, and that's it for week number 2. Week number 3, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to use a different strategy. You can pick whichever numbers you want. So you could choose 40, and you actually sold only 20. Remember, make sure that you do week 4. It's further down here, so it's going to be on the back or on the second page. Make sure you do that one too. So for this one, I might choose a bigger number. I might decide I want to try to sell 100, and I actually sold 70. And remember, I also want to fill in what strategy I used. It could be a 100 chart. It could be those 10 rods and unit cubes. And I want to tell my teacher why I chose that and then show an example of how I did it over here in this box. So make sure you fill out week 3, week 4. Week two doesn't have to be the same as mine. Remember, you can do whatever you would like, your own numbers, your own strategy. And then once you get all of that completed, just go ahead and upload that worksheet and turn it into your teacher. And as long as you've filled out all the weeks and done that subtraction carefully, make sure you double check it with your learning coach, especially after you've done all of that, you should get an amazing grade and your portfolio assignment will be complete. All right, so that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough and it was helpful to you. See you next time. Bye-bye.